Hello everyone, Fancy here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today we are discussing the Xbox Series S because recently, I was hoping to make this video recently as well, but people beat me to it, but that's fine because they have different takes on it. I like that. Dreamcast Guy made a video about how he doesn't like it at all, and RGT85 made a video about how it's amazing. I think somebody else made a video, I don't know. But those two are the ones that I know made a video about it with completely opposite takes, and I'd like to weigh in with looking at both sides. So let's go ahead and just take a quick analytical look, because this is, oh my god, less than a week away before the next gen systems start coming out. So before you make that purchase, you'll be a little bit more informed if you haven't had the time to look at anybody else's video or anybody else's thing, and you're thinking about getting a Series S. So let's start with the good. The good is the fact that it is only $300. That's awesome. That's super cheap. Makes it a lot more affordable for a lot of people. You can't build a computer cheaper than $300 to match the same power. I mean, that's crazy. That's already a phenomenal bargain when it comes to gaming. Also, Game Pass means you're going to have a ton of games to play on it immediately. Another great value proposition. If you have Xbox One controllers, you can use them on the Series S. And that's great. Again, you don't have to buy a bunch of new controllers. And the size of it, if you're worried about the size, I don't know why you are, it's going underneath your TV, but the size of this thing is about the same size, if not smaller, than the One S. Also, if you don't care about 4K gaming, there you go, you're fine. It's still a good value, 1080p gaming. And now let's cross over to the bad. Because this is not a perfect system. There's a reason this is only $300, and it's because they did have to cut a lot of corners to get it to that price tag. Again, short term, that price point is amazing for a next generation system. However, for a long-term investment, because that's what this is, it starts to fall apart. Because you are going to be having this thing for 7 to 8 years. That's right. These generations last at least 7 years. That's a very long time to have a less powerful system. Whereas the Series X, if you buy in at that, yes, higher price point, but you are starting off with better hardware. Things aren't being lowered down. They are being taken advantage of. All of the specs and all the things they put in that system to make it the most powerful system, those are being used to their full effect. Whereas the Series S, they are already having to par games down even below 1080p. Yakuza Like a Dragon is not even going to be full HD. And that's, yeah, you might not be able to tell the difference now, but years down the road, you're going to start seeing more and more of these games get better and better to match the specs of the Series X and to fully harness its power. Same with the PlayStation 5. Both of those systems, we're going to see these games get better and better. Because remember, the games that we're seeing now at launch aren't even close to what they're going to look like later on in the system's lifespan. Think about Ghost of Tsushima and the games that were at the launch of PlayStation 4, like Knack, stuff like that. Those games didn't look that great. There were a lot of games that did not look nearly as good as they look now. As developers continue to learn how to take advantage of those systems, the Series S is not going to benefit from that at all. Yes, they'll be able to adapt to make games still look good, but you're already going to be missing out. And the thing about the hard drive, oh my lord, this new leak about it being, 364 gigabytes for an all-digital system. That's not a lot. Now, you could plug in an external hard drive, but you're not going to get the same speeds as the hard drive in that system anymore. You could buy the extra $200 hard drive, but if you're already willing to spend another $200, why are you not just getting the Series X? So that's not really a good argument in my opinion. If you're saying, oh, I'll just buy that later, why not just save up now and get the Series X later? Because remember, a lot of these games are going to be coming out on the Xbox One and X. So there's not going to be a lot of exclusive games for just the new generation. And a lot of these old games are going to get upgrades. So even if you're still buying Xbox One games because you're saving up for that Series X, it'll have free upgrades later on. You're not going to be missing out on anything. And if we look at the resolution argument, I understand that you don't see the difference between a little bit below 1080p and 1080p. But when they start taking advantage of HDR and 4K and things like that, you're going to see a huge difference between these two systems. I understand a lot of people they don't care. They just don't care about the best resolution on the market. But remember, look at 4K TVs back when the Xbox One originally came out. They were incredibly expensive. I didn't want to own one. I wasn't going to get near one. I was like, whatever, 1080p is fine. Now you can pick up a 65-inch 4K on sale for $250. Even not on sale, we're seeing 50-inch plus TVs in 4K for $250. Are they the best 4K TVs? No, but you're still going to see a big improvement. Also, going back to not having a disk drive, I understand a lot of people don't mind just having digital games, and that's fine. Again, I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. But do keep in mind that these Xbox One games, they're going to go dirt cheap. Yes, they also work on the Series X, so they might hold a little bit of value. But most people, when this new system comes out, they're going to want to buy the ones that say Series X on the box. They're going to want to buy the latest and greatest games. So all of those older Xbox One games are going to crash in value, and you're going to be able to buy an insane amount of old Xbox One games for dirt cheap. Yeah, there will be sales on the Xbox Marketplace, but I don't think you're going to see the same deals that you're going to see in person on disc. For some reason, disc-based games seem to go lower in price faster than digital. I don't understand it. I really don't. And they also hold their value a lot longer than their physical counterparts. If you look at the PlayStation Store and the Microsoft Store, you'll see so many games that are really old, priced at like $40, $50, and then you look in the store shelves and it's $20 just sitting there all day, every day. It doesn't make any sense. It's really frustrating, and that's how it is. It's kind of the same thing with Steam. I'll look at like a really cheap game that's on the console and PC, and it'll be physically way cheaper than it is on the digital marketplace until a sale hits, and then of course it's way cheaper. But on the console world, it doesn't work the same way. Those disc-based games seem to always be cheaper. I don't understand it, but that just seems to be the continual trend that I'm seeing these games going. Maybe that will change in the next generation, but I don't see it happening, especially because there's only going to be one marketplace on each system, whereas there are plenty of stores that sell physical games that are all competing for your attention. I want to again stress this. You're going to have this system for a very long time. You're going to have this system for 7 years. And yes, there's going to be a slimline Xbox Series X later down the road. I know people are going to make that argument, but Fanta, if you buy Series X now, there's going to be another Series X later. I don't think there's going to be a more powerful console until much, much later. If they do, I don't know, the Series XX, I don't even know what they're going to call it, the Series X, it's going to be much later down the road because they are packing this thing with, gaming PC levels of hardware. So yes, there will be another iteration of the Series X down the road. It'll be smaller, it'll be slimmer, whatever. But that's not the thing. The thing is your Series S is always going to be underpowered. That Series X that comes out, it's going to be the same power, if not just a tiny bit faster than this Series X that's coming out now. And yes, they will try to optimize games for the Series S as much as they can. But I still have a feeling that just like games on this current hardware, you're going to see frame rates drop, pop in, happen all the time. And it's going to suck. I understand the temptation to save money in the short term. But just remember that this is not like a gaming PC. You can't just upgrade the system later and make it more powerful. You can't. I wish you could. That'd be awesome. But you can't. So when you're buying this box, it's an all-in-one system. You can't change any piece of it except for its hard drive. And that'll be the system that you're stuck with this entire generation. And if you're making the argument, I'll just buy the more powerful one later, why not wait just a little bit more, save yourself some money instead of spending $300 and then another $5, you spend another $2, and that's it. You get double the hard drive space, you get the disk drive to get the cheaper, older games, including 360, original Xbox, all the things that are backwards compatible, and you get that more powerful console for the duration of its lifetime. So I don't hate the Xbox Series S. I don't think anybody's stupid for buying the Series S, but I do think it is something to consider. If you're buying this for like a child, they're not going to use it all the time, or you're buying it for yourself and you don't really play video games that much, sure, Series S, it's a good way to go. But if you know that this is going to be your console platform of choice, you know that you play video games every week, I think it's worth it to get a more future-proof system. To have a system that is more future-proof and is going to hold its own as technology inevitably surpasses it by miles. Because we know it's going to. It does every generation. So with all that being said, let me know down in the comments what you will be picking up. And let me know why. I'd love to hear your reasons of why you really want that Series S. Maybe I missed something. But I really did want to make this video to be very middle of the road, though of course I do have a preference, but to humor both sides. And another main reason I wanted to make this video is because I worked at GameStop during the Xbox Live Arcade launch. And I remember how many frustrated people came in after they bought some game that they had to install and said, why can't I do this? And I said, you have to have another hard drive. You have to have actual storage space, because the Xbox Live Arcade had like what, megabytes, maybe like 4 gigs, something tiny, and it couldn't install any games. Immediately, as soon as people bought that, they had to buy a hard drive, and after they bought that hard drive, it became basically the same price as a regular 360. And I just wanted people to have a second thought about their purchase decision, because I don't want you to buy something and then get buyer's remorse and go, oh crap, why didn't I just save up and get that other one? And please, of course, like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more content, and as always, have a fantastic day. See everybody.